All right. Welcome back, everyone, for another deep dive. And today we're tackling vitamins and supplements,
Yes.
which I'm really excited about
Yeah.
because I got to tell you, the research you sent over is pretty fascinating.
It's a big topic.
It really is.
For sure.
So I think it'll be a fun one.
I think so too.
So I guess maybe just to start off, should we just sort of define what vitamins and supplements are?
Yeah, I think that's a good place to start.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So, vitamins, they're these organic compounds. Our bodies need them, but just in these super small amounts,
Yeah.
and they're kind of like these little helpers. They allow our body to function the way that it needs to.
Okay.
Supplements are a little bit different. They can be vitamins, but they can also be minerals, herbs, all sorts of other substances that people take.
Right. So it's not always the same thing.
No, they're not all the same.
Got it.
Yeah, and, thinking back hundreds of years ago, people weren't really thinking about vitamins and supplements like we do now, and it wasn't really until about 100 years ago that scientists really started digging into these things and figuring out how important they are.
And isn't it amazing how much we've learned in just 100 years?
It's incredible. We've gone from not even knowing they existed to now understanding how they work at a molecular level and how they impact everything from our energy levels to our immune system.
Yeah, it's wild.
It is.
So you've sent over some articles here and some studies about why people are taking supplements. And I think that's a really interesting question.
Definitely. It's a huge industry, and there are a lot of reasons why people might choose to take supplements.
Yeah. Like, for example, I'm seeing here that some people might not be getting all the nutrients they need from their diet alone.
Exactly. A lot of people have busy lives and they rely on processed foods, which might be low in some essential nutrients.
Right. Or like you were saying, maybe they have some kind of dietary restriction so they can't eat certain foods.
Exactly. Or medical conditions that can affect how well their body absorbs nutrients.
Yeah. And then some people might take supplements to kind of target a specific concern they have, right?
Right. Like if someone's worried about their bone health, they might take calcium and vitamin D.
Yeah.
Or if they're feeling stressed, they might try something like magnesium or ashwagandha.
Yeah. And this one study you sent was interesting. It was talking about athletes and how supplements can help them.
Yeah, that's a big area of research right now. Looking at how things like creatine or branched chain amino acids can impact athletic performance and recovery.
Okay, so basically there are a ton of reasons why someone might choose to take a supplement.
Absolutely.
So with so many options out there, it's got to be kind of tricky to know what's actually going to work for you.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And I think this is where things can get a little bit confusing for people.
Wow.
You walk into a health food store or browse online and you're bombarded with all these products making all sorts of claims.
Yeah, exactly. And it can be tough to decipher the science from the marketing hype.
It really can, and it's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that more is always better.
Right. Like, if I just take all the supplements, I'll be super healthy.
Well, it doesn't quite work like that.
Yeah, I figured.
And that's why I always stress the importance of doing your research and talking to your doctor before starting any new supplement regimen.
Yeah, they can help you figure out if a supplement is right for you.
Yeah.
And they can also make sure that it's not going to interact with any medications you're taking.
Right. That's super important.
It is. And I remember one of the articles you sent mentioned something called bioavailability and how that plays a role too.
Ah, yes. Bioavailability. That's a crucial concept.
And what is that exactly?
So basically it refers to how much of a nutrient your body can actually absorb and use.
So just because I swallow a pill doesn't mean I'm getting all the good stuff.
Right. You could be taking the highest dose of a supplement, but if your body can't absorb it properly, you're not going to see the benefits.
And what kind of things affect that?
Well, it depends on the nutrient itself, but some factors include the form of the supplement, like whether it's a tablet, a capsule, or a liquid.
Oh, interesting.
Other things you consume at the same time, like certain foods, can enhance or inhibit absorption, and even your individual gut health can play a role.
Wow. So it's way more complex than just popping a pill.
It really is, and it highlights why it's so important to be an informed consumer.
Okay, so we've talked about what vitamins and supplements are, why people take them, and some of the things to consider before adding them to your routine.
Yeah, we've covered a lot of ground.
We have. And, you sent over a bunch of really interesting studies and articles about specific vitamins and supplements. And I was hoping we could kind of dive into some of those now.
Sure, let's do it.
Okay, so this first one caught my eye. It's about vitamin D. And it seems like it's getting a lot of attention these days.
It is. Vitamin D is definitely having a moment, and for good reason.
Yeah, and this article talks about how it's not just important for bone health anymore.
Right. We used to think that was its main role, but now research is showing that it's involved in so many other processes in the body.
Like what?
Well, for example, studies have linked vitamin D deficiency to an increased risk of certain cancers.
Really?
Yeah, autoimmune diseases, cardiovascular disease, even mood disorders.
Wow, I had no idea.
And there's growing evidence that vitamin D plays a crucial role in immune function.
That's interesting, especially with everything that's been going on in the world lately.
Right, and I know you're a runner.
I am.
And there's some research suggesting that vitamin D may be beneficial for athletes as well, helping with muscle recovery and reducing inflammation.
So maybe that's why I always feel better after a sunny run.
It's possible.
I'll have to look into that.
Definitely.
And then another study you sent over was about probiotics, which I'm hearing more and more about.
Yes, probiotics are fascinating. They're these live microorganisms that can actually benefit our health.
And they're mostly found in our gut.
Oh,
right?
Exactly. And our gut health is incredibly important. It plays a role in digestion, immunity, even mental health.
Right. I've heard that our gut is like our second brain.
That's a good way to put it. And probiotics can help to maintain a healthy balance of bacteria in our gut, which is essential for overall well-being.
So if someone's having digestive issues like bloating or constipation, could probiotics help?
They certainly could. There's a lot of research looking into the use of probiotics for various digestive disorders like irritable bowel syndrome or inflammatory bowel disease.
And some people even take probiotics after they've been on antibiotics.
That's right, because antibiotics can wipe out both the good and bad bacteria in our gut, so probiotics can help to replenish the good bacteria.
And speaking of the gut, I know there's been a lot of talk about the gut-brain connection lately.
Oh, yeah, that's a super hot topic in research right now.
And I think you sent over a study about how probiotics might actually influence our mood and cognitive function.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Scientists are finding that the bacteria in our gut can actually communicate with our brain through various pathways.
Wow, so our gut bacteria are sending messages to our brain.
It seems like it, and this communication can impact everything from our mood, our stress levels, even our ability to learn and remember things.
So basically, taking care of our gut health is like taking care of our brain health, too.
Exactly. It's all connected.
Wow, that's incredible.
It is, and it really highlights how much we still have to learn about the human body and how all these different systems interact with each other.
Like a whole ecosystem in there.
You got it.
Well, okay, so we've talked about vitamin D, we've talked about probiotics. Are there any other supplements that you think are worth mentioning?
Well, there are so many out there, and it really depends on the individual, but one that comes to mind is omega-3 fatty acids.
Oh, yeah, those are supposed to be for our heart, right?
They're a type of healthy fat that's been shown to have numerous benefits for cardiovascular health. They can help to lower triglyceride levels, reduce blood pressure, and improve overall heart function.
And I think I've also heard that they're good for brain health, too.
That's right. Omega-3s are crucial for brain development and function, and studies have linked them to a reduced risk of cognitive decline and Alzheimer's disease.
Okay, so they're kind of like an all-around good guy.
They really are, and most people don't get enough of them through their diet.
So a supplement could be helpful.
Exactly. Especially for people who don't eat a lot of fatty fish like salmon or tuna, which are rich sources of omega-3s.
Right, so vitamin D, probiotics, omega-3s, anything else?
Well, we could go on and on about different supplements, but I think the main takeaway here is that they can be a valuable tool for supporting our health, but it's crucial to use them wisely.
Right, not just grabbing whatever's on sale at the store.
Exactly.
So what are your final thoughts on all of this?
I think it's really empowering to learn about vitamins and supplements because it gives us more control over our own health.
Yeah.
But knowledge is power, and it's so important to do your research, understand what you're taking and why, and always consult with a healthcare professional to make sure you're making safe and informed decisions.
Okay, so I think that's a great place to end our deep dive today.
I think so too.
But as always, I like to leave our listeners with a question to ponder.
Okay.
So after learning all this fascinating information about vitamins and supplements, have you thought about which ones might actually fit into your life and which ones don't?
That's a great question.
Yeah. And remember, talk to your doctor first.
Always.
Don't just start taking a bunch of stuff.
No, definitely not.
All right. Well, thank you so much for taking us on this deep dive.
My pleasure.
And we'll see you next time.